Cali bonita, eres un Edén de vallas hermosos y lindas mujeres que siempre soñé.
Welcome back to the channel. What you just saw was a bus robbery, and if you notice, when she saw the guy and the guy actually passed by her, she knew what was going on instantly. And what she did was she took out her dummy phone. So she has two phones. So she took out her dummy phone, which is a phone that she really doesn't really care that much about. The phone is kind of old, and she took that out just to give to him, while she put her probably most likely new phone, or the phone that she used the most, underneath her leg. So again, this is just to show you that yes, it is crime in Colombia. It's different types of crime here that probably do not exist in your home country. So you have to be aware and stay aware and expect the unexpected at all times, no matter where you at when you come visiting Colombia. So now let's get into the topic: Cali, Colombia, advice for visiting. And this applies especially for first timers. And if at the end you have any other suggestions or your own personal opinions, put some of those in the comment section below. So now don't stress out all about safety, but these are some rules that you should apply when you're visiting. Like I said, it's corruption, it's drug trafficking, it's murder, it's robberies all over the world. So you can't let that stop you from traveling. But the big difference is how it's done. And what I mean by that is corruption in my home country, which is the US, is different from corruption let's say in Haiti. It's drug trafficking in the US, but it's different than drug trafficking in Brazil. So it's how it's done. It's way different. So let's start off with talking about women. Your first time visiting Colombia or anywhere in the world, this applies. But if you're walking on the side of the road, don't carry your purse or your bag on the side facing the street, because a robber on a motorbike will see this, and this will give them the perfect opportunity to have an early Christmas with whatever is inside that bag or purse. So don't do that. Switch sides with your purse or your bag. And I guess also it could apply to men who wear those satchel, purse, bag things, whatever they're called. That could apply to you. So you would have to also switch sides to avoid someone seeing that and coming up on foot and just snatching it, or a person on a motorbike. Whatever you think is valuable, like gold chains, rings, watches, you can wear, because it's not like Colombian people don't wear watches or things of value or gold, but you're doing it at your own risk. So it's up to you whether or not you want to. Also, a few videos back, I made a video about your passport, and I gave you some stories of what happened to me when I had my passport and when I didn't have my passport. So again, that's all up to you. But like I mentioned in a few videos back, you can and you will run into a cop that will pressure you because they ask for ID. They want you to identify yourself, and you have no ID, which is your passport, or you pull out a piece of paper which they have no idea what this is. All they know is this is just a copy of something, and they're asking for your official passport, and that can cause problems. You can meet a cop that had a bad day, and he asks you in their language, which probably you don't know, how did you get to my country? Did you use this piece of paper to get into my country? So why are you showing me this piece of paper? I asked for your official identification. You're a foreigner, which is your passport, and you're showing me this piece of paper. What is this? You did not enter my country with this. You can get a cop like that. And now what? You can't speak their language, and now you're in a situation. What you going to do? You're going to try to argue with this person? You're going to try to, I guess, you can bribe or pay this person off, but you put yourself in a situation because you chose not to have it. So you have to do your own research, and you have to figure out whether or not you want to. Like I mentioned in a few videos back, again, you could get in an accident. You can get hit by a car or whatever, and now you have no type of identification, so nobody can't identify you. You always can meet that one person. You can't say that it's never going to happen to me because you cannot predict the future. So again, that's all up to you. But what I'm going to do, I'm carrying my passport. And again, look at the beginning of this video. Most robbers, they're asking for something. They have a gun or some type of weapon, and you're giving up something. So you're not going to give up your passport. That's useless to someone trying to rob you. Most likely you're giving up your phone, you're giving up your cash, you're giving up your wallet, maybe credit cards, but you're not going to hand over your passport. You're going to hand over cash or a phone. Basically, that's it. Now, there is such thing as strong arm robbery, but that doesn't happen mostly in these countries that I travel to. What happens is someone has a gun, you're going to give up something. Most likely it's what you had in your phone, what you had in your hand, which is your phone, or something that's in your back pocket, which could be your wallet, something of value, not your passport. So you don't have to worry about somebody robbing you for your passport. Is useless. It's cash or phone. Now, I did 2 years back run into a blog of this guy that he just dedicated his time all towards Mozambique. Now, Mozambique is in Africa. I had planned on going there because I was on my journey of going to different Portuguese-speaking countries. I went to Brazil. I went to Cape Verde. I went to Portugal. So my next journey was going to be Mozambique. Now, this guy's blog was talking about how a cop took his passport. So basically robbed him and wanted money for him to get the passport back. So like I said, you have to do your own research of these different countries you go to. There are certain countries that you cannot wear camouflage as a civilian. So as a foreigner, that applies to you too. So again, you have to do your own research. And another thing is when you're coming to Colombia or any country, but we're talking about Colombia right now, is you have to be patient. I learned this early in my travels to other countries. If you don't speak their language, they'll work with you, but again, you have to have patience. In my country, if I pay for something, if I pay for a service, I expect the service to be done at a certain time. So someone is giving me basically like a deadline. And when that time approaches, I expect to have whatever it is, whether it's some type of product, software, food, or whatever it is. I expect that. When I'm here in Colombia, you're on a different time. So again, you have to have patience. When you go to, for example, grocery stores here, especially Exodo, you will notice that there's lines and lines of people. And guess what? All of those people, they have patience. They're used to this. They're used to long lines. So as a tourist, as a visitor, you have to adjust and get used to this as well. And guess what? During the holiday season, especially Christmas, the lines are worse. So, you have to be prepared or just do all your shopping or get all the things you need before the time comes. Because if you come to an Exodo during the week of Christmas, it is hectic. The lines is crazy. So I would avoid that. So just be patient. You're on vacation. All you have is time. You don't really know the language. So all you have is your time. So again, be patient. Speaking of language, learn just a little bit of Spanish, just a few words, because those few words can go a long way. It can help you a lot. Now, I'm not going to say you have to be at the intermediate level of speaking Spanish, but just a few words, just some basic words. But if you don't have time to study or learn some words because you have a job or you have kids, or you just don't have the time or you don't feel like you don't want to, then don't worry about it. Don't let the language stop you from traveling. Because I know a few people, just because they didn't know Spanish or Portuguese, they chose not to come to Portuguese or Spanish speaking countries because they would feel lost. And I would say, don't let that stop you, because there's lots of people that travel the world and they don't study the language. They just go to the country to see the country, to taste the food, to go on tours. And most of the people that they're encountering on these tours, they speak English. So don't let that stop you from traveling. But for those who choose to learn just a few useful conversational phrases, it will help you out once you leave your hotel or your apartment, because English is not widely spoken in Colombia. If you choose to get a nice hotel, there will be staff there that probably speak different types of languages, English being one of them. But once you leave, it's like good luck, because again, English is not spoken everywhere in Colombia. Also, if you meet someone, just to know a few phrases will be impressive, and also it will help you out. Something else about Colombia. As a first timer visiting, you're probably wondering, what should I wear? What should I bring to Colombia? Well, it all depends on where you're going in Colombia, because I learned very early traveling throughout Colombia that not all cities in Colombia have the same climate. My first time visiting Colombia here in Cali, I was like, okay, Cali has the perfect weather. It's hot. Then I moved on. I went to Medellin. I just started visiting other cities in Colombia, Santa Marta, San Andres, just all your major cities in Colombia I visited. Then I tried, you know what? It's time to try Bogota. It's time to go to the capital. I went there with the same mindset of everywhere in Colombia is warm, it's hot. And I learned very quickly that Bogota was one of the coldest cities in Colombia. And I'm lucky I had long sleeve clothing and a jacket, because when you visit Bogota, you will need some type of jacket, especially at night, because the weather in Bogota is not the same weather in Cali. And last, you're probably asking yourself, because you're indecisive, where should I go first in Colombia? And when should I go to Colombia? What month? And I would say that when you should go to Colombia all depends on your job, because I'm pretty sure you have a job. So if you only have 1 week off in July, then July is when you're going. Don't delay your trip because you're trying to find a perfect time, a perfect month to go. Go when you have the time, because you might not have that time the next year. You know, it's a job. You're probably working for somebody. So you might not get the same time off, or you might only get just a certain time that shortens your trip. So don't put it off because of that. Go when you have your time. Now, where should you go first time visiting Colombia? You know, you have to do your own research. I'm a beach person, so if I'm going to a country for the first time, I want to check out their beaches first. So the cities that have a beach, I'm there. That's where I'm going to go first. But what I would say is, because most airlines, LATAM and Wingo in Colombia, they're so cheap, you could go in 1 week to 2 different places. So split it up. Maybe for the first few days, you go to a popular city, and then towards the end of your vacation, you go to a city that most people do not go to. You know, that's what I did my first time coming to Colombia. I knew that there were beaches and they had beach cities in Colombia, but I chose the opposite. I chose to go to here in Cali first, because I didn't know about Cali, and I didn't know many people that had visited this city, especially during 2011. So I chose to come here first, and then after that, I moved around. So you might want to do that on your first visit. Do 2 cities in one. And if you made it this far, thanks for watching. This is the end of the video. Check out my previous other videos here in Colombia and also in different countries. And peace out.